Volcanic mountains begin small, but they erupt. A building starts with probably a first dig, but you end up building a very magnificent structure. That is good. But then when issues become small and we're not able to handle them, then they become mountains of issues. How do we handle these little or small things while they are still at that moment? Welcome to Family Times, and that is the topic that we are going to discuss today.
Yeah.
Joining us today is this lovely couple. I'm privileged to have my namesake visiting us and the wife, Winnie. Dave and Winnie, welcome to Family Times, and it is such an honor for you to come and just to sit down and talk with us. You can say hi to our viewer. Let me start with Dave.
Hi, viewers.
Thank you, Winnie.
Hi, our lovely viewers. My name is Winnie.
We are surely going to have a very good discussion with Dave and Winnie with us. I also want to invite and also just welcome Richard and Tabby, who have been our great friends, and they are part of this family. Richard and Tabby, it is always a pleasure to have you. Please say something to our viewer.
Hi viewer.
Hi,
Karibu sana.
Hi, viewer. It's indeed a pleasure, Dave, to be here once more.
We are starting small,
Yes.
but we are going to make it big.
Yes, yes, yes.
For the sake of Mama Tabby, babe, say hi to our viewer.
Hi viewer, welcome.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, like I've said, there are things that begin small, like building a foundation. You have to start somewhere, and then the building becomes bigger, and something that we can see and even admire. But then we are talking about issues in the house that we ought to handle while they are still small. And you will also realize that most of the time, or all the time, it begins from something that we can easily say or easily just sweep under the carpet and just say, I don't have to talk about this. But then they become mountains, and meetings are called and people sit down to talk.
I believe you have seen the mustard seed.
Yes.
How tiny and small it is. But when it goes onto the ground, it becomes a very big tree. Yeah, so smaller issues have got a lot of things. Need to be handled while they're still small before they grow to become very big.
Yes.
Because when they do that, they can blow houses and buildings. Yes.
They are greater than even the best bombs that have been made.
Very true. Very true.
You see, like I was saying, Dave, there are things that we can easily, sweep and just forget about them and think that it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. What are some of these issues that we need to handle while they are still small? Let me ask Dave.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Now, one thing that I want to say that it also needs you to be very keen to know how small that thing is.
Exactly.
Because to some of us, we might be having blind eyes to see those small ones.
Wow.
Maybe an outsider will come and say, there is something here.
Yes.
But to me, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it.
Yeah, it is normal, it is not even existing.
Yes.
So I need to be very keen, and sometimes somebody has to bring it to me, to my mind, to remind me that this thing is like this.
I think
Because
it's very
sometimes-
right, because
yeah.
at times we go, for example, there's a saying in Luo where I come from, that a visitor's eyes see so much. That is a direct translation. So I can go to my brother's Dave's house and I see, for example, the way Winnie is behaving, and I'm like, did you just see that? And probably Dave sees it as so normal. So I totally agree. That is really important.
Yeah, because people are again different.
Yeah.
And, maybe something that you perceive as small, it's a mountain to me.
Right.
So I think we need to just be sensitive enough and try to be in someone's shoe and try to understand them. In as much as you might assume this is too little. Like, for example, in children, sometimes a child might tell you, hey, I fear going to a certain place, so I'm fearing cockroaches. You're like, a cockroach, only a cockroach.
Just
but
a small thing.
that cockroach is a mountain to that child.
Sure.
So sometimes we are just assuming a lot of things, but we need to take care of that cockroach.
I think,
And also give that child
I just wanted to add real quick. For example, even with kids, you see a little baby, saying really the cuss words, and you're like, "It's all right, my mama." Yes, and before you realize it, this baby will start using those curse words on you. Or when this child is born, when they start, the way their kids who are very fussy, when it's time to feed, they want to start beating you up, or they want to demand so much, and you're like, it's okay, this is my daddy, this is how he behaves normally.
Toby, I want to bring this one maybe today in the morning.
Yeah.
It is just still fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
In the morning, Winnie was telling me, where have you placed your slippers?
Yes.
Is it the right place?
Yes.
To me, I said, what is it? What's wrong with
What's
it?
the big deal?
What is the big deal?
Yeah.
It is not small.
Yeah.
It is not small. And I said, we know this thing should be placed here.
Yes.
I said, okay. Now I start learning polypolis. Okay, this one should not be put here. The slippers should be this side.
Okay, for example, to the young couples, maybe you are married, they're still courting, you love each other, still call somebody babe, babe. And then you wake up in the morning, your baby mommy, maybe your baby, your sweetheart, still sleeps. The man wakes up, prepare the breakfast. You still find it sweet for her to sleep there because you're still in love.
Yes.
That one just grows until one day you go to some other couple, you see the young couple waking up, making breakfast nicely, laying the table, making the house neat, while yours is still sleeping. 2 years, still sleeping in the morning, waking up tired. You are the one who's doing everything. It started small when you're still courting, growing, and then it grows to be a big thing. Now you tend to say, my wife is not like the other.
Start comparing.
Comparing. While you are still nurturing, when it was still young, you are still in love, until it becomes,
Really stop spoiling.
Because you see, it's something that you decided to let it be. Then later on you want
realize
to change
it is not.
That always brings a conflict. Because how can you change, and we've gotten used to be sleeping. Then you've gone to a neighbor and seen a neighbor. Maybe the wife is waking up early. You're like, why are you still sleeping? You need to be waking up by now.
When you
waking up,
when you look at matters, when you look at issues, and sometimes you don't realize that this small matter eventually will change, and I'll feel uncomfortable about it. But you nurture it. If, for example, what Winnie is saying is for love, you want to nurture something that after a little while you will not be very comfortable with. And you expect this to be done. And you hope it's going to continue forever probably. But it may not be that. So it's better you start putting things into place. This is not right, this is not right, this is right, this is wrong.
I think
Can we stop?
Like the
when
slippers
we were
one.
living, before we moved, real quick, before we moved to the village, he used to tell me, you need to start waking up so early. Because in the village, at 6 o'clock, somebody will come and knock your door. I'm saying, to do what? Just for no reason. Like, are you serious? I know, I'm like, why would somebody come to my house at 6 a.m.?
You are one of their own. They can come in there anytime and they can leave at any time.
There's something that there's something that you guys have talked about. I want to come back to children, and I want Winnie to weigh in, because Winnie, you handle children a lot. There was a statement that Linda made, I think it was last week. I spread the bed, and she was like, you mean you spread the bed today? And I still remember that thing, because when did I stop spreading the bed?
Yes.
And by the way, whenever we clean our stuff, bed sheet and all that, I'm the one who spreads the bed because there's a way her nails, you know, she cannot. I'm the one who spreads the bed, and
Yes.
this
That bed is
You're the one
she's
who-
telling me
You are the one who tucks.
you made the
bed
bed.
sheets
the
under
bed.
the
But
You
mattress.
mean you're the one who
Mattress is
spread
so
the
big.
bed.
Because-
So that small thing,
Yeah.
you see, how long has it been?
for,
How long have I not been spreading the bed?
for so long.
Okay.
You see,
Yes.
and that is what we are talking about. To me, I still can't digest it because, I mean, she's not spreading the bed whenever she cannot tuck it. But that bed aside, for couples who have children, and there are these cases where we have these children who are not being, you know, which word should I use, corrected when they do something. Winnie, what happens with such kind of children?
Such kind of children, when they grow up, they tend to be rebellious, and they tend to be like, I am who I am.
Yeah.
He or she does not follow instructions from
Yeah.
anybody. He or she knows that I'm the best, and I should do that.
Self-centered.
Self-centered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Sometimes you
let's
see-
come back home.
You see, sometimes like there are some children who throw tantrums. Maybe
Yeah.
you go to the supermarket, they want something, then you tell them no. Then they start throwing tantrums. Then you as a parent like, no, baby,
normal.
it's okay.
Yeah.
What do you want? You just go and pick it. That baby knows how to manipulate you. So if
Yeah.
you don't take care of this kind of behavior, it will come to be something that is very negative when they grow up.
You know, I also want
Yeah.
to say this.
Yes.
You know, sometimes it also doesn't even start with our children. Can you flash back and maybe somebody tells you of how you used to be when you are
Yes.
when you are young?
Yes.
Back then.
Maybe you grew up that way.
Yes.
So you know, when your child is like that, is
Yes.
like he's me.
Yeah.
You have nothing to correct.
You see
because you are
yourself.
like that. You know,
see
your
yourself.
parents were just pampering you. It was
Yeah.
small like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You do bad things, and they say, no, it's okay, it's all right.
Okay.
You splash milk on the floor. You said,
And
it is
it's
all right,
okay. And he's
mommy.
going to
It is,
clean it
yeah,
up.
auntie will clean. So when
And-
you also have
But-
yours,
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know the
But
danger.
sometimes-
The danger in this, Dave, is that when you see it and you see yourself in it,
You will not.
you
correct
don't
it.
judge it as being wrong.
Yes.
You feel that, no, he's following after me, so let him just be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yet, to somebody else away from this family,
Yeah.
it could be a very irritating issue. Yeah. So we got to weigh, we got to look at it. When you think this is another step from here, this might be annoying, then we need to curtail that. We
But
need to stop it.
You see, again,
In good time.
sometimes we usually do it like this. Maybe when I was growing up, niliteseka. So I don't want my kids to
Yeah.
also
Like
face,
that.
You are right.
yeah, to face
Yeah.
that kind. So I just take it easy.
Dave, I think
You're right.
apart from children, there's so many other things that when we don't look into detail, we're going to mess up. Look at even our finances.
Before we go to finances,
Yeah.
allow me to bring this because I have an example and Linda has an example too. Child discipline. The two of us handle children differently. And sometimes I feel that the way she handles discipline
It's not.
is not
This is not the right
the
way.
right thing. And I see it happen. So one day we sat down with our children and I was asking them, who is who is more harsh? And they said, you are harsh.
No, it's you.
No, it was you because mine ends there.
Yeah.
Hers continues.
Not harsh. That
She
is
pauses after 5 minutes.
You-
She remembers
Yes.
and comes back. Why did you have to do this? I don't like this. And then 1 hour later, she comes back and you remember. Now you can say.
Now him, you know what the kids say about him is, one day we asked them, who would you rather, whose hands are safe when you have a problem?
Yeah.
They were like, you, but daddy, no. Because he's, I don't know how to put it, but he's so harsh. So harsh. Until the kids sometimes will just look at him and sometimes they will keep quiet, not share anything because he's there. But when we are together, they always talk to me.
about it.
Yes, they will
You know,
talk about it.
let me pick it from you. You know, disciplining children is good.
Yes.
And we must discipline our children to
Yeah.
bring them in the right way. But sometimes, you know, when they have maybe messed somewhere, and in your anger, you want to discipline.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where sometimes we go wrong.
That is
And
true.
they will never understand it.
That is true.
When you are annoyed and
Yeah.
you want to exercise the discipline,
Yeah.
it will be better that you cool down, which is
Yeah.
not easy also.
So, yeah, because
When
it's
you cool down,
reflex. Yeah.
you will let it go.
Yeah.
So you want to do it while it is still hot.
Yeah.
Tabby, that is the bit I wanted us to. Richard, I want you also to talk about finances. Now
Yeah.
that Tabby brought it in,
Yes.
I only wanted that to come out. Finances.
Finances are a big challenge. Yeah, a serious challenge to most of us in our families, because we tend not to have similar goals. We tend not to have same thinking, same way of doing things, and we're kind of split on this one. I have the things I like and I would want to do. My wife has things she likes, which she wants to do. Sometimes they're not compatible. We don't agree. We tend to disagree more. And because of that, we find ourselves in a very slippery ground. We can very easily fall.
Yeah.
Because we build anger and you are annoyed over something that could be very simple.
Sure.
But because there is no way, there is no agreement, there is no pre-planning on what we need to do and how, or what we need to spend, then it becomes an issue that sometimes stay in our hearts and our minds for a long time.
Tabby seemed like she has remembered something. Say it, my sister.
I really want to speak for that viewer who is like me.
Thank you, not me.
Because probably, dear viewer, you're like me. Growing up, I had, but I didn't have so much. So God opens doors, and you have that little extra coin, and you probably didn't have clothes. This is an opportunity for you to buy all the
Yeah.
clothes. What do you think?
Treat yourself.
It is.
Winnie, what do you
Yeah.
think? So, as
Are you
much as
struggling with this one?
yeah, but it's true,
I'm
you know.
asking team.
Yeah,
struggling with this
you
one.
probably
It is a
get that
struggle.
extra money that you didn't have, and everybody, you know, that peer pressure thing, and you're like, you know what? After all, it won't make any much. It won't make a lot of difference. So you go shop. After all, you're eating food every day, right? Yeah. So I'm sure, dear viewer, we can relate, right?
So in this case,
yeah,
something is happening,
Yes.
or is beginning to happen,
Yes.
but
Allow
you're
me
not
to
able
say
to
this.
control
Yes.
it.
So I may not forget this one.
You are just okay.
I'm struggling with that one. Yes, this matter is a real struggle to me because whenever I buy my own,
Yes.
it doesn't seem to be okay. But when she buys, it's all
okay.
right. How many pair of shoes do you have? I have only two. I need a third pair.
Yes.
That doesn't seem to strike any codes. No,
That's not
But it doesn't seem. If it does,
Yeah.
it doesn't look it. That's the only issue. But
If I buy
eventually, I buy. I don't mind. I go on
Okay.
and buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
Handle it while it is still small.
Exactly.
Relatives. I wish we would have time to
I
talk
think-
about these finances, but
Yeah.
we have so many issues that we have to handle while they're still small. Dave, issues with relatives. Let me give a hypothetical scenario. You have your brother, who is the in-law to Winnie, and you see the way your in-law is talking to Winnie. I mean, your brother, your sister is talking to Winnie, and you're like, okay, they're just getting to bond. They'll know one another. Let them be. And then that's it. Go ahead.
Usually they say that people don't live in an island.
Right.
You
Yes.
must have people around you, which is positivity is good to have people around you.
Yeah.
At least you can have a fallback when there is a kind of a challenge somewhere.
Yeah.
But sometimes when these people tend to crouch so much into your living
Space, yeah.
as a couple, you know, sometimes it starts small, of course. My Shimeji has come to visit us, and she's normal, she's fine, but now she wants to bring whatever is happening in her house to our house. Well, the other side, the husband help in washing dishes, and here she comes and find I'm not doing so. Then she goes and tells my wife, you know,
Let me.
Why don't?
I've never bought that one.
Yes.
I've remembered.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a day we went for some graduation somewhere. Then I called him and told him, you know what? We don't have flour in our house. Will you just pass by and get some maize?
Yeah.
You go to the portion mill, then
Yes.
we
Yeah.
can get flour in the evening.
Yeah.
Then when I came back, he didn't get time to go to the portion mill. So he was having those maize in the carrier bag. And then I had my in-law there, my sister-in-law. Then I was telling Dave, Dave, so just me, I'm still passing by town, just passed by the portion mill. No, the in-law just tell Dave, no, you gone, done the maize. In mother tongue, you are disturbing our brother. I took it personal, but to her it was normal.
Yeah.
So it is our way of living.
Yeah.
So it's coming inside
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
We started it when it is small.
Yeah.
Now we have been growing like that.
Yeah.
To her, she was
Assisting.
saying that
It's very abnormal.
Yeah,
it
very
is abnormal
Very
too.
So-
abnormal.
So you can see what that did. And I don't know, how did you handle that? How did you now?
But thank God, he understand. He went ahead and did the same. Yeah.
Okay. What was the message back at home?
And you see, that has its own connotations. In our culture, in our traditions, it means that the wife is sitting on him.
Yeah.
You see, oh,
Yeah.
That's right.
I also have
Because
an
him is the
instance.
kind of a person
not-
he would wash.
Yeah.
Wash the clothes,
but yes.
iron for me, what? It is normal. It started when it was still small. So we are
Yes.
growing like that. I think now people see that it is not normal to them. But to us it is normal.
Very true.
Yeah.
Linda has some.
I have an instance also.
Oh dear.
I have a brother-in-law. Sometimes he gets so drunk and disrespects my father-in-law. So it continued a lot, but one day he came home so drunk and he started talking to dad so badly. So I decided to call the chief, and the chief came and worked on him thoroughly.
Wow.
After that, you remember my mother-in-law by then, she was in Australia. Then she came back later on. But he was worked on thoroughly by the chief, and then he went. So when my mother-in-law came back, I had also sister-in-law, the wife to
Your co-wife.
my co-wife. She did, I don't know, we were clashing a lot because she was telling us that as the two of us, we've learned a lot. We've graduated. We are graduates. Them, they have not gone to school. It's like we are looking down upon them. So they had a lot of issues. So when my mother-in-law came and heard that, I called the chief and worked on his son. There was a kamkunji that was brought.
Small meeting.
Definitely.
A small meeting.
And he was not there.
And he was not there. So in that meeting, I was the only one. The rest of the people on the other side, and you know, me, I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to defend myself. In fact, when you've already, you've accused me, and you've not asked me the part of the story, you already have your own part and judged.
Yeah.
I don't even defend myself. You take what you'll take. So everyone in that meeting, my co-wife,
Kind of.
Yeah.
Sister.
yes, my sister-in-law, Aki, she would talk. She told lies, and my mother-in-law believed her. So I was all alone. So when he came back,
Yeah.
he found the things had already been resolved, but the meeting, after the meeting, the
Everybody.
conclusion was I was the bad person.
Yeah.
So when he came, I told him. He really felt bad. So we didn't stay there. After a while, we decided to move so that at least there's some peace. But
Rest in peace.
hey,
Yeah.
So you will agree with me that when small issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not handled.
And by the way, they were really small issues. Things of, no, don't use that sufuria, use this other one.
yeah.
Don't cut the onions first, these are people who are living together.
Yeah.
They are cooking together, they set up in a home. There are things that, you can easily handle.
Yeah.
But then, because of one reason or another, you push them aside. Look at that.
Yeah, I think, that is really key. I think we've talked about that. There's also another issue that is also a big challenge even in the homes. You have your spouse and I start talking down on him. I start disrespecting him, throwing words here and there.
And they're not really big things.
Yeah.
They are small.
Yeah.
tiny
They
ones.
start, like
Yeah.
very small
So,
things. So
That's the
It
thing
becomes a big problem because now
You know.
I end up or he ends up talking down on me even when people are there.
And
That
even someone
makes
telling
you
you
a
that I will slap
confidence.
you. I will
under
slap
normal
you.
circumstances,
Richard,
Dave's abuse.
Richard, I know you,
Yes.
but I want you to hold that thought
Yeah.
because we want to take a breather.
Yeah.
We want to handle some other small things before they become big. Then we come back. Dear viewer, we have talked about these issues that affect us, but probably you're wondering, then what next? We are coming to that, and we are going to look at the benefits and even why we should handle them while they are still small. There are very good examples that have been given here. We have children, we have finances. We haven't even talked about intimacy. We haven't even talked about spiritual deviation. A husband never now wants to go to church. So stay tuned as we come back for this and more. And remember, it is only in family times that you find such.
I am a man. Does the 21st century man understand what it means to be a man? Take a look at society today. Where are the men? Where are the men who stand for integrity and truth? Where are the men who lead their families to Christ, who provide for them and protect them? Are you that man?
The ladies have no problem with submission. The problem is, to what are you submitting? you can't submit to a vacuum.
Most of their affairs start with emotional connections.
When you are making a choice on morality, don't bargain. As the 21st century man, we need to realize that we avoid this reactive kind of approach.
Watch the 21st century man. Join the conversation about what it means to be a man in this day and age. 21st century man, from his perspective, coming soon on Hope Channel Kenya.
Welcome back. This is Family Times, and we are talking about handling the small things while they're still small. We have talked about some of these issues that if we don't really tackle them at that level, they become an avalanche. We have talked about character in children, we've talked about finances, we've talked about relatives, how they talk to our spouses and how they view us and how they want us to relate in our families. If we are not able to handle them at that point, then it becomes something big. Before we went for a break, Richard was burning to say something. Then now we want to talk about two more. And then we need also to understand what is the outcome of not handling these small issues. I've talked about it, but now maybe we could also give examples of these small things that we fail to handle, but then they became something else. Richard.
Thank you, Dave. What I wanted to talk about, and thank you for allowing me to do it, is that many times when we have conflicts within the families, especially sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, and all that, we fail to handle them properly right from the onset. But more than anything, when it relates to our relatives, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, and that kind of thing, you know, the tendency is that, Dave, you can abuse me, and I can take it very lightly. But when it is Tabitha who is abusing me in your hearing, then it's a very big thing.
Yes.
Yes. And I tend to react, I would react to that. I don't know why that normally happens, but I could look at you and view you and probably weigh you and then, this is just Dave telling me that. Anyway, let me forget it. But when it is Tabitha, I'm seriously cross because she's much closer to me. And so it makes relatives become more paining when they do or do things or they say things which we don't like, especially to the people we love. Yes, it becomes a serious matter. It could be your own mother, who is a mother-in-law to your wife, who is saying something which, as a practice, if you don't stop it at that particular time, the other ones are also brought in. That's why Mom was saying this. Then it becomes a common thing. Everybody else can do that. It's kind of, you know, it's like a disease. It just goes on and on. So you rather stop it now before it goes to the next person. How then do we do it?
Richard Levy add something, especially by day for you as Dave. When your mother sometimes talks so bad about me and you still encourage your mother to speak that
or you
to
completely
me,
shut
and
up.
You shut up. You need to stand up for that. I've come to your home. You need to tell your mom, Mom, please, this is my life. This is how I will live it. I'll not live your life, okay? But sometimes men keep quiet and a lot of ladies get hurt so much until someone will never even want to go home. They'd rather keep it here. They'd rather stay in town. I'd rather stay back in town than go to your mom.
My complaint is just this one, what Linda said, that men keep quiet. Yes. Is it that it's only men who keep quiet? Or women would do the same?
Because if it's
my mom,
you see,
for example,
sometimes
my mom
you see,
is
sometimes
bashing
Dave,
me.
maybe there's something that I can't tell Dave about his mother, because definitely, you know, it will bring a clash. So I'd rather keep quiet than also tell him. If he doesn't use his head so that he can protect me, then I'll keep quiet.
The rather thing, what you're mentioning, the rather thing, is the same that may have me tongue-tied. I wouldn't want to talk because I'm
no, he's your mother. I can't talk to him. You are the one who should be standing in the gap.
This is where we are wrong. A wrong is a wrong. Whether it's from your mother or from your father, my father or your mother.
Correct.
A wrong is a wrong. Correct it instantly.
Dave, the issue is spiritual commitment, decline in spiritual commitment on both ends, and even on the children. Someone doesn't want to go to church anymore. There is no devotion in this house anymore. It is done once, the second time. I mean, what is the impact of that?
Now, one, in the society that we have found ourselves in, people tend to be very busy. And that time is very short for us to handle so many things. Now, where many things, the spiritual part of it comes in. You find that you have done so much errands, you've gone to work, you have done what kids have gone to school. When they come back, they have homework, home fun is there for them. You want to assist them, you know, through their homeworks. And by the time that, and supper is also preparing somewhere. Now you are rushing things between supper and all these other activities that have just cropped in the house, so that you are left with very minimal time for the spiritual part of it. Now today, because the children are so tired, let's just say the grace and call it we have prayed. So today you start small by saying the grace, by the grace of God, blah, blah, blah. And they know how to run through it, the lyrics. And people run to their beds. Then tomorrow, you know, the devil is also there watching and saying, let me take advantage of this. And tomorrow it brings more home fun, more activities. You want to check on your Facebook, whatever.
So that you can continue.
By the time again you are praying, see, the other one yesterday, the grace help us. It did the work. So
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It becomes a practice.
It starts that it becomes a practice that even the spiritual part, people don't read the Bible, you don't sing, you don't do anything. It goes like that. Small. And sometimes, you know, she was not an Adventist.
Right.
And she married an elder.
Oh, man.
And then I said, you know, me, I love doing the Bible study lesson. That is the lesson.
Yeah.
I do it almost every day, every day. It's so lovely. Now, I want to introduce her to that.
Yeah.
He said, what is all this?
Surely.
Reading again.
I know.
It's so difficult. I said,
Yes.
now I will just take you pole.
Yes.
But I decided to buy even, you know, I buy the lesson, I give her, go to school with it.
Yes.
At your own given time.
Just
But she still finds it very difficult.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have to come in and say, no,
You have to
you have to do it. Spiritual matters, Elder Dave,
Yeah.
you take them slowly. Let
day at
them
a time.
gradually. Even this fasting, people are fasting there to death.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please, let us not fast mara moja. Fasting, you go pole.
Yeah.
Let your people learn why you are fasting.
Yeah.
Don't
Fasting.
coerce people to
Yes.
continue, you know, everybody to fast today.
That's
Fasting
right.
for what? For spiritual matters, we have to take them very slow. This is my
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Winnie, now that you have been mentioned adversely but positively, what was the steps that you took towards this? Because now I believe your spiritual level has increased, and you are somewhere.
Yes.
For the sake of our viewer, how did you handle this?
Okay, I was not an Adventist, but through the support and the understanding he gave me, it made me who I am today. He was not forcing. First of all, when I was married, I didn't even have dresses to go to church. I had trousers also. Until my sister-in-law came with a lot of big dresses for me to put on. I was like, hey, this one now doesn't even fit me. How will I put it on? No, but to him, he was understanding. He would take me through the Bibles word by word, verses I would understand. He made me join the choir, supporting me slowly and step by step, without forcing me to do it, without me loving it wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Very true.
So basically, we are talking about how the benefits of handling this at that.
Yeah.
The Englishman says, nip it at the bud. What is the place of communication in handling these issues while they are still small? What is the place of communication?
Without communication, there's
Nothing,
nowhere you're
yeah.
going.
Where do you
Nowhere.
place it?
If it's with that little child, I always say, kneel and be the level of that child. Talk to your child. Tell your child, hey, this is wrong. You know, growing up would be given crazy examples or crazy, let me say, I don't know, crazy, do I say warnings or something? You'd be told, for example, if you go and play outside in the rain, you're going to do what? Or, okay, let me give an example. If you're eating and you put your hands down while eating with one side, what happens? Your mother dies. Unless I'm the only one who knows that. That was just to teach you. Yeah, that was just to let you know that, hey, you know when you eat and you put your hands down, as a child you might forget and use your other hand.
The other hand.
Yes. So communication is key in whatever way. If it's that child, use the language of a child. By the way, they listen. Using the language of a child does not mean you, but just use a language that child is going to understand.
Yes,
I don't know whether I got you differently, understood you differently. You kind of asked where or when about this communication. We want to stop something. Where do we do that, or when do we do that?
Yes.
In my view, I think the moment that happens, then that is where we say what we want to say. If it's not acceptable, when it is done, you stop it there. Give your view. Say what you want to say, so that it is understood from the outset that this is not right by so-and-so. He doesn't accept it, whether it's to your mother, to your father, your brother, to your sister, to your aunt, whoever it is. Tell them, no, can you just leave Tabitha alone from that? Can you just keep away? That is not the way I would like you to address my wife. I'm sorry, I don't like it. Why? You could have addressed this one better. This is not the right way.
Richard, let me just maybe go the other side of the coin.
Yes.
There's some people who thinks that, you know, communication does not mean that I have to talk.
Yeah.
There's some people who just keep quiet,
Yes.
and they would want you to understand them. Learn that he's talking something
Yeah,
which is not giving it out.
Very true.
We said so and so, if he's annoyed, he will not talk.
Right.
You know, he's communicate. That's another communication.
Whatever the style.
We have a
So
perfect
what
case
we want to do is what we are saying is that
Yes.
it will be better.
Just a minute. We have a perfect case here of people who don't talk.
Finish.
But go on, go on.
Let him finish. Yeah.
Go on.
What I say, it will be better
Yes.
if you cough it out
Yeah.
rather than keeping it.
Exactly.
Because to some people, by keeping it, you want people to be understanding you, and they cannot understand you unless you talk.
Unless you
Dave,
talk.
say that again.
That's
We should
But you
say
see,
that
you
when
want
standing.
what happens,
as much as you want to say it, there's some
Spell
instances, just like he said,
Yeah.
sincerely, in
Yeah.
all honesty, definitely takes God for you to do that. But if there's a situation and you're all seated like this, say you're my father-in-law,
And it hurts.
and there's no
You
way,
can't.
Yeah.
there is no way Dave is going to tell his
Yes.
mother in front of everybody that, hey,
Yeah.
you cannot do this to my
No,
wife.
it's possible.
No.
But it's possible.
No.
We can do
It's
it.
possible.
Not,
Okay,
not all of you. There are
that's
some
all.
who won't.
You see,
Yes.
For reason.
there's a verse in the Bible. There's Proverbs. Is it Proverbs 15, verse 1?
Uh-huh.
You see, you don't have to stand and start commanding and saying, "Mom, Dad, that is wrong." You can humbly, politely, but firmly say,
Yes.
"For this is where." Maybe you can read it.
Proverbs chapter 15 verse 1, it says, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
You see, this is something that I've learned because I live with an extreme introvert.
Oops.
But I thank God. You know, God can change your personality from an introvert to almost an extrovert, but not yet there.
Yeah.
Linda would keep quiet.
I will, by the way.
And you see, we are talking about communication at the spiritual level of someone.
Yeah.
Because I personally believe that if your spiritual level is, you don't have a spiritual backing. For me, I'd use Proverbs 15 verse 1.
Yeah.
And just say it in a nice way, but firmly.
But you see, sometimes when you're so much angered, or you feel you're so much, someone has stepped into your territory,
Yes,
sometimes it's not
irritated.
easy for you to say something at
Exactly.
that moment, because maybe the words that I will mention at that time will hurt you
Exactly.
forever,
Right.
because words are so powerful.
You're right.
Yeah,
So
very
I'd
true.
rather keep quiet,
Yes.
then I will do it later. Or
That's
me,
right.
like for my case, when he messes up with me, sometimes I will keep quiet and just let it go. That's me. It
I call
goes,
it-
it sweeps it.
I
Like
call
it
it
took
cold
him
war
hit.
or nil by mouth.
No, it
That's
took him
crazy.
time to understand that.
Oh, yeah.
The way I solve my things, if it goes like that, if I sleep, when I wake up in the morning, it's
Okay.
over. I'm okay. But he wants me to talk. Then talk at that moment, which I can't, because I imagine maybe the words that I will speak, maybe out of anger, will even create the situation so worse. So I'd rather keep quiet.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it is some kind of an ego.
Yes.
For example, now somebody has been accused.
Yes.
My mother, of course, which is your mother-in-law,
Yeah.
has been accused. And now we say, this is an elderly person.
Right.
Now, your ego wants this person to be judged here, in the hearing of everybody. So that one also we need to take care of that. This is an elderly person. Well, I will get whatever that my mom was wrong on this and that.
Yes.
I'll find a time somewhere with her. Not necessarily that when people are hearing, so that it's the ego of people say, okay, amemsomea mamake leo. I will find somewhere and say, Mama, even though I didn't talk there, it was wrong for you to do this to Winnie, 1, 2, 3, 4. She will understand. She will also be appreciative. She said, hey, you didn't embarrass me in the front of
that is true.
Same applies to
Well-
the spouses. When you can't embarrass your spouse in front of them,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
have to
That is
find
true.
time. and-
You know, thank you. I appreciate all that. But we are talking about matters which you want to stop from growing.
Yeah.
And my take is just this simple, that you stop it at the point where it is mentioned.
That's very right.
But there's the other danger.
Words, yeah.
When you take it, and probably most commonly when somebody comes to inform you about an incident between your mother and your wife, or your brother and your wife, or your sister and your wife, and it's reported to you, then it is necessary and important that you take a little time to get to know, because
What
you may
happened.
be hasty, you
Yes.
may be hasty
Yeah.
and make a mistake
Yeah.
Right.
and grow into a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Yes. But when it is done in your presence, done to somebody else who is important to you equally just as your mother is,
Yes.
then to stop this problem, to grow into serious altercations between the two, stop it and say, Mom, I don't like it. There is nothing wrong. For me, there's nothing wrong. It's in front of the person who has been accused, or the anger has been directed to, and you don't see the reason why it should be. Why do I have to bake it and hope that it just grows?
I think
Now,
it makes
how long-
sense.
how
And
long-
as you
how long
bake
is
it,
long?
yes, it's
Maybe,
grown.
yeah,
Now, I
It
want
is
to-
growing.
David, I want to
Yes.
answer this. How long is long? The Bible is very clear.
Yeah.
I think in the that Ephesians,
Yeah.
that the sun should not.
Set.
So that is the length. In other words, so long as you should clear that matter
Before the sunset.
before the sun, that particular day, it is still fresh.
Okay.
Other than keeping it for another day.
Anyway,
Are you
how-
listening now?
Yeah.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
Hey.
But see, I told you how I do it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
But we're
Last
learning
time.
something here.
Yeah, it's okay. People are different. They will, as long as it fits them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, we are handling small matters that grow into
bigger issues, bigger
big
matters.
and even bigger issues that we are not able to handle. How now do we bring in people who they've been having these conflicts? They realize that it is now time. What would be the first steps or the first things that they need to do? Because I think there are others that we may even need a counselor.
Yeah.
But now, how do we now come in? How do we now bring in this viewer who has watched,
Yeah.
has learned, but now wants to come back? Maybe a word to our viewer. Let me start with Winnie.
I want to the viewer. Okay, when you want to handle something small, for it not to become bigger, tend to speak out. Don't keep it to yourself. It is good to communicate. You say, babe or sister or brother, oh, it is like this, forgive me. And you find out I speak my side, you speak your side. Because when you keep it to yourself, it will come out to be a bigger thing, and you will involve third party. And then the third party has come in, it is definitely it will not solve that problem. When the third party has come in, I tell you, my viewer, it will not come to be solved easily. You'll keep on referring to the past. But when you solve it between two of you, it is very easy, because you'll be remorseful, you'll speak out your mind, and you'll be genuine to yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is
Thank you.
Okay.
Brother Dave, talk to our viewer.
Now, to our viewers, Hebrews chapter 4, verse 8 is talking of, now, brothers, whatever things are good.
Philippians.
Philippians, that
Yes,
is,
yes.
Philippians. Whatever things are good, whatever things are sweet, whatever things are
Lovely.
whatever, continue.
Whatever things
Singing
are
that song. Whatever,
Think about it.
meditate upon them. So if we can be meditating upon the good things of my spouse, the good things of my mother, the good things, because those bad things are there. The devil is roaring
but
like a lion.
yes.
We will never miss those things. But if you tend to build them as a mountain, small by small, you bring them closer, they will overwhelm you. So me, I will just say that sometimes we need to wink on those small issues. But if we can fix them at that particular time, the better. But never also bring them when we are now solving two. Now you are bringing one, the one that was the other side.
The initial.
Let's just solve this one here.
Yes. Thank you. Tabitha.
Wow, that is powerful.
Yeah.
Now, dear viewer, I just want to tell you something really short. Be the bigger person. You don't have to wait for your spouse to solve it. Once God has opened your eyes and you have seen the challenge, be the bigger person and sort it out.
Amen.
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 Thank
Richard.
you. Thank you. I tend to want to go with what she's saying. If you can solve it in that minute, do it instantly. If you have to delay it for whatever reason, be the bigger person. Our viewer, this would help you solve issues in your families when you have the courage to tackle matters even when they are very small and tiny. Don't allow them to grow. Just go straight into it. Remember, accompany yourself with Christ Jesus.
Amen.
Things will work for you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Linda, you have something.
Yeah, to our dear viewer, let me just read something here. It says, light a candle rather than cast the darkness. That is one of the solutions. Then there's another one, you solve the problems as a team rather than to pull apart when there's a crisis. We need to pull together. And another thing is to empathize rather than putting your partner in her own place.
Yes.
Try putting yourself in his or her own place. Then the last one is curb criticism. Think twice before you assault your partner verbally. So one crucial critical remark can negate many acts of kindness. Criticism wounds the ego and arouses fears, resentment. So
Which book is that?
this is a magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a magazine called Signs of Time.
Signs of the Times.
Yeah, Signs of the Times. How to love your marriage. So
you.
there are some few tips on how we can do it. So I know God is able to help us do it. So may God help you. It's never too late. We can also start afresh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful time just talking about the little things, the small things that we need to handle while they are still small. Thank you so much, Dave and Winnie, for your time and for your contribution. We have been blessed.
Amen.
I have been blessed. Yes. And I have learned a lot. Thank you, Tabby and Richard, for your contributions. They have been very, very, very much important. Dear viewer, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, we always love your feedback. It is important for us, and that is why we develop some of these topics. Thank you from wherever you are watching us. We just want to say God bless you, and we believe that you have learned something. My parting shot would be, when you are supposed to handle it, at that point that you feel that I need to talk about this, that is the time that you need to talk about it. And probably just as we wrap up, I just want to remind you of some of these highlights that we've talked about. Issues are there, issues will come, because as we always say in this set, that we are two adults who came from different backgrounds. And even for those of us, these young people who love this show because they are planning to get into a relationship, handle them even at that point. Because if you don't, when you get in, it's going to be a mountain for you. But listen to this. God is still in the business of making and perfecting families. So that is the most important thing. Go to your knees and pray about it. Otherwise, thank you so much for being part of us, and we love you. We love you. And so I have so much to say, but because of time, I want to stop at that point and just say, God bless you, and remember to stay tuned to Family Times, because this is where we talk about issues that affect you, issues that also affect us, and we get to analyze them and handle them. God bless you. See you next time.